What's happening, Newt?
Fish, it is baseball season.
I see that.
You
Who?
like it, huh?
Yeah, we got all kind of stuff going on.
Yes,
What
it's
is that? Do you have like the rankings?
yes.
Okay.
That is national preseason polls. The four of the five big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
noticed they were a little scattered, but LSU is pretty consistent 2-3.
2 and 3 is pretty much across the board. I haven't seen us in any one other than those two spots.
Yeah. I have some questions about that, but before we jump into that, we never got to do our post bowl game podcast, in which LSU emerged victorious against Baylor. Wasn't close. I didn't think it was going to be. That's the podcast where we had Low T on with us, and I was like, man, I should bet, on this. I just got a feeling, and y'all were like, oh no, don't, you're gonna jinx it. Man, I should have bet the farm on that. I knew they couldn't hang with us. Everybody was looking at what we lost, but they forget, man, LSU's got some talent stacked. Even a bad LSU team has talent.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, man, it seems like a lifetime ago. I hardly really don't very much remember the game, but it was never really a contest. LSU just pulled away from the very beginning and just what LSU should do to teams like that. Not that Baylor's a bad team, just LSU is head and shoulders above them and talent wise, experience wise, pretty much across the board. So they did what they should have done.
Yeah, they dominated. Garrett Nussmeier was fantastic. Um, Big breakout game for Trey Green. He's what
Yep.
I hoped he was. He was honestly unguardable.
Yep.
Um, should have had more scores than he did. Fell on one he would have been wide open on, but he fell coming out of his break. But yeah, he was amazing. Aaron Anderson had a great game, but he also, God, he dropped some balls and he fumbled. Um, we ran another kickback. I guess that was Xavion that did that,
Yeah, Xavier did the kickoff.
which is, if you maybe you don't recall, but when we got him out of the transfer portal last year, I was very excited because I wanted him out of high school. He's a Louisiana kid. I wanted him out of high school so bad. And, we didn't pursue him very well. And he wound up at Mississippi State. And luckily, Brian Kelly got on him and got him back in Louisiana. And, you know, but anyway, real quick, let's move to okay, recruiting. Recruiting was we already did our recruiting podcast, and we didn't sign another high school player in the second signing date, which just passed a couple of days ago. But
Right.
what LSU did is basically they bought themselves a hell of a roster going into 2025. And I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I don't like that you have to do it. Let's put it that way. I don't like it, and I know you don't either. But the bottom line, if everybody else is going to do it, we had to do it. We had to shore up our defense.
Yeah, definitely. And man, look, I like everything I've read so far. You know me, I really don't follow recruiting. I don't pay attention to any of these guys' names until they're wearing purple and gold and actually on the field for us. But from everything I've read, we should definitely see a big improvement next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Every I don't remember all of them, but initially the first 8 or 9 that we got transfers in were starters at the P4 level last year.
Nice.
The ones that we lost were guys that you were like, you know, honestly, the worst one to me was CJ Daniels, and we replaced him with so much more talent at wide receiver. I mean, he's a guy that played well but had zero touchdowns, and we got some hosses coming in at wide receiver now. And then we lost Sage Ryan, which I know everybody likes to hate on Sage. Sage Ryan was the best. He's the best safety we had. I think we've improved there, but he was the best safety we had. It was his first year actually getting to play safety. What I don't like about it, and I know you don't like this about it either, is he went to play for Ole Miss along with Deshaun Womack.
Means we get to play against them next year.
Exactly. The middle will be open, and as far as Deshaun Womack, I mentioned him. We really raked in some edge rushers. I'm not worried one bit. I like Deshaun Womack's potential, but clearly there was something wrong there. He didn't make a trip to Florida. He didn't play in several games, including the bowl game. Something was going on. He's gone, and we replaced him in triplicate with
Yeah,
proven
something like
guys.
that. There's typically something behind the scenes there. Yeah, I'm not going to speculate to what it is. I have no clue, but usually there's something going on, and apparently it was between either him or Kelly. Somebody decided it wasn't fixable here, and he left.
Yep, yep. Um, got a couple of tight ends. Like I said, Trey'Dez showed out, but we got a couple of tight ends. Trey'Dez was kind of a wide receiver hybrid last year, and in a bowl game, he was just incredible. So, and he did a pretty good job blocking in the bowl game too, because we didn't have a tight end. Mason Taylor was gone.
Yes.
But we'll see what comes up. We've got some starting tight ends that left other programs to come to LSU. Got some secondary help, which was desperately needed, and then got some defensive line help and got some offensive linemen as well. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about football, spring practice and everything. See who's who and what's what. But hey, time to go get another one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get to it,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Man, look, I think first let's since Jay Johnson's been here, this is the first time we actually retained the entire coaching staff from the previous season. He's got his pitching coach back, Nate Yeski, Josh Jordan's back, Mark Wanaka's back. I mean, so and you talk recruiting, LSU baseball went out and absolutely nailed it. On paper, at least, this is an absolutely loaded baseball team. We're
Um,
loaded top to bottom.
number one high school class, number one portal class.
Yes,
Hey,
and
by the way,
it's
what are you drinking there, buddy?
the good stuff.
That makes you the winner.
Yes, absolutely.
Got the old standby, the old backup, the Kona Big Wave. You can tell just because of blue. It's the old Kona Big Wave. Nooch likes to call it the Green Wave. It's not Green Wave. It's
It's what it
it's
is. What it,
Big Wave.
yeah, sure.
But
So,
anyway, so
uh,
yeah, whole coaching staff coming back. That's
yes,
I
it's
guess that's
huge.
good.
It. I mean,
Along
yeah,
with
I don't
consistency.
really see a negative in it. I mean, not that you can really knock what happened the previous years, because I mean, when your assistants are getting hired as head coaches elsewhere, that means they did
Something's
their
good. That's
job.
that's where I was going with that. I guess that's
Yeah,
good.
they did their jobs.
Nobody
So
wanted our guys. I don't know.
yeah, so but it's good to have that continuity, that consistency. And now we'll see what that translates to, because like I said, on paper, this team is absolutely freaking loaded. It's still just some question marks because these are guys that, especially your transfers, they're coming in from smaller schools. Will that translate? You don't know. You got true freshmen coming in. How will they translate? And then you got you guys who were freshmen last year, and do they take that typical jump in the second year and perform to what we expect them to do? But
What's
man,
it
this is
all start and end with, though?
was that
What's it all start and end with?
pitching.
Yeah,
You
that's
got to have the most.
to me, that's one of the questions. I will say not necessarily questions like I'm concerned about it. We have depth that we didn't have.
We have plenty. We have a lot of arms. It's just going to be
They're all
whether,
talented.
yes, they are very talented. It's just a question of whether or not they'll all reach the potential of what we think they can all be.
You remember last year, Kate Anderson came in and in the early season prior to conference play, he was dominant. And
Mhm.
he was one of those he was a freshman last year, right?
Yes,
And he looked like, geez, this guy's gonna be amazing. And then you hit conference play and he couldn't get SEC hitters out. He couldn't do it. And then they moved him over to midweek, and he would come and just mow it down. He'd mow down Nichols or whatever. And then it's all right. Let's try him again against another conference team, and it never really clicked. Um, so I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking to Will Helmers. Remember Will Helmers, who really showed out in the regional last year. His last opportunity as a Tiger, probably his best, if you recall.
yes, very
Um,
similar out.
and they were talking to him. Of course, these old players, ex-players, they're tight with the program, they're tight with the coaches. They have friends on the team still. They go out there and they watch. Will is still in Baton Rouge, and they asked him not which pitcher, but which player stands out to you more than any other so far, heading into where we are right now, this point in the preseason. Now, Will's a pitcher, so that's probably what he's paying the most attention to. But his answer was Cade Anderson. So that's encouraging.
Man, look, Jay already announced it, at least for opening weekend. Cade Anderson's our Friday night guy,
Yeah,
which
for the opening weekend.
he's really and truly, Jay's a bit different than what Paul Maneri was. Paul Maneri used to give opening day to pretty much your guy with the most tenure.
Mhm.
Uh, no, Jay Johnson treats opening weekend like any other weekend. You throw your ace on Friday. So the coaching staff really feels like Cade Anderson is an ace. Um, there are some scouts who are talking about him potentially being a high-end first-round pick type talent. So he's got it. And you talked about his struggles in conference play, but if you remember when the calendar flipped to June, all of a sudden in the SEC tournament and then his appearances in regionals, man, look, he was pretty good.
Clicked.
So
Looked like it clicked.
yeah, it did. So if he takes that next step, and apparently they think he's gonna be a legit true ace for this staff.
I hope
And
so.
on
That's
paper,
my only question. It's not even the pitching staff, do we have good pitching? That's not my question. My question is, who's your ace? Who's your Saturday? Who's your Sunday? That's my questions.
so they already announced the rotation for the weekend, and it actually falls exactly in line with what I was predicting. Cade Anderson will be your Friday night guy. Like I said, true ace type stuff. Uh, Anthony Anson's going to be the Saturday guy. Anson, I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which is correct. And he's a transfer from out west. He's a West Coast guy, but he put up good numbers at UC San Diego, and he's one of those who he definitely has the talent, and he showed he can pitch. Uh, they play good baseball on the West Coast, so he has played against quality opponents. It's can it translate into the SEC is really the question, and if it does, he's pretty much ace quality too. And then on Sundays, you might remember a fellow named Chase Shores who started out.
I actually had in my own head, and I didn't announce this or anything, so I can't prove it. But my thought was Kate Anderson, Chase Shores, and then Ianson.
Yeah, well,
Just
Jay
Friday,
Jay
Saturday,
went
Sunday.
with Ianson on Saturday. Uh, I'm really anxious to see how Chase Shores does. He's hitting 98, 99.
98,
And
99 is what I'm
yeah,
hearing.
so that means he's probably going to touch 100 a couple of times this year. And if he's already hitting that, then that means he's probably mentally over the injury. Timing wise, it actually kind of worked out for us to redshirt him last year. He probably could have made a late season return last year from Tommy John, but it didn't pay to waste that year. So they held him out. So he's actually had a longer recovery than most. And he should be 100% healthy. And I mean, you want to talk about ace quality stuff. I mean, you got a guy who's 6'8", chucking the ball at damn near 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You almost don't even need a secondary pitch. You don't need much of one.
Right,
Just
right, right.
keep hitters somewhat off balance.
Talking about secondary pitch, it was, that interview with Helmers. I'll tell you after this is over who I heard it from, so you can go listen to it. Um, he said that Kate Anderson was showing four legit pitches um, heading into the season, and he's southpaw, correct? Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lefty,
he's a lefty.
and he's bringing heat from the left side plus four legit quality pitches. I don't know if you need four, but you need a couple or three. Three don't hurt.
Yeah, really. I mean, three helps. Unless you have two really, really good ones,
Yeah, unless
then
you got
you can get away with it.
Paul
Yeah,
Skeen's fastball and Paul Skeen's slider.
right,
You don't need anything else
correct.
anywhere on the planet. You don't need it in the bigs even.
Yeah.
But
So
but yeah, So
But
the
that'll,
pitching is something I'm interested in to see how it translates once we get to
yeah.
SEC play. But I think the pitching is going to probably roll through the early
Oh, absolutely.
non-conference schedule. Although we've got some decent teams we're playing in the non-con.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we play Dallas Baptist, we
Yeah,
play Kansas State, Nebraska. I mean,
right. That's up in
that's all
Frisco.
tournament teams from last year. So
Yeah.
that's good quality opponents. But continuing with the pitching, then you got your next group of guys who would be curious to see how Jay uses them, whether it'll be mostly long relief on weekends or maybe midweek starters. He kind of,
Closer.
he floats back and forth on those guys depending on what's needed at that particular moment.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
what I'm
got,
looking forward to with the pitching staff. Like I said, I know we got the talent. I just want to see
yeah, we got
how it all plays out.
we got guys like Zach Cohen. Zach Cohen was the ace for Wofford last year. Wofford was a pretty good ball club. You remember they
Yeah.
gave us hell in the regionals.
Yep.
So we didn't face him last year, but he was the ace of their staff. He was like all Southern Conference, whatever. He was pretty much a damn stud. You got a JUCO transfer in Connor Ware, who, from everything I've kind of read and heard, he's going to be kind of like your all everything guy. He'll get some midweek starts. He'll get some long relief. Might make a spot start on the weekend if you need him to. They're comparing him, kind of using him in a similar role to what Griffin Herring kind of filled the last few years. Just kind of whenever you need an arm, he's the guy you go to. Um, and then you got DJ Primo, who played a little bit last year. He's another one they've been speaking pretty highly of so far this spring. So he's going to log a few innings for you, and I think that'll be the bulk of your long relievers slash midweek guys. It'll be some combination of those three, and then in your later innings, you'll get somebody like true freshman William Schmidt, who he's Baton Rouge guy, went to Catholic High. Um, he's a hard thrower. He's one of those guys that never make it to campus typically. He was like the number 15
He
or
was,
16.
yeah, he's probably the highest rated high schooler that I've seen make it to campus as a pitcher.
Yeah, yeah. They say he was definitely top 20. He was,
Yeah.
mid-teens.
He turned down
So
a lot of money to come to LSU, man.
yeah. Then there's another true freshman, Kason Evans. He's another guy who's hitting 98, 99 on the gun. So he'll be another guy who'll come in late. And then obviously Gavin Guidry, he's the one I'm kind of curious to see how we're going to use him.
Rooting for him.
I am too. The staff sounds like they are trying to extend him a little bit. I don't think they'll ever use him as a starter, but they are looking at getting him to go have longer appearances instead of just your typical closer role. So he'll probably, develop into a 2, 3 inning type of guy. Uh, so hopefully he's developed a couple other pitches. I mean, yeah, that curveball is amazing, but you got to have something to go with it.
Yeah. Or
Preferably
people's
one
gonna
that
read.
doesn't take a drastic U-turn,
Yep.
and then, man, look, we,
If
we
I'm
got a
wrong,
couple.
because I kind of, I mean, I feel like I'm 100% right on this, but didn't he come to LSU and we were expecting him to play shortstop to like replace JT at shortstop?
Yeah, he was the heir apparent.
Yeah.
And
And then now he's a pitcher coming off of arm injury and everything a couple of years ago.
yeah,
And
um,
I don't know.
another guy to look at on that back end is Chandler Dorsey. He came in from South Florida, and last year he was the Baseball Writers Association had him as a finalist for Closer of the Year as a national award. So
Well, yeah, we should probably pay attention to that then. That's pretty good.
yeah, so he's another guy on the back end, and one I'm really really looking forward to see. We have a true freshman who is 6'9" and almost 260 pounds. Guy named Maverick Rizzi.
Center, I mean, is he a left tackle?
No, he is a right-handed pitcher.
Huh. Can he
So
play left tackle?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he's a big guy. I'm
Yeah,
curious to see
J.J.
him.
Wealth, man.
Connor Binge came from Dallas Baptist. They said they were a tournament team last
I've
year.
never, I just love the whole. That's what I love about baseball. You know, Coastal Carolina, Dallas Baptist, East Carolina. These are big time programs, man.
Oh, yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
So, and then really another one, Cooper Williams. He's another true freshman who probably get some quality innings. Some combination of all of those guys is who's going to eat up our innings for us. And
Yeah. Well,
somebody.
and that's going to be the fun. Like I said, is figuring out where they all fit, who gets the midweek. I know. Pretty early on, we got two midweek games in the same week. I can't remember which week that is, but it's pretty early on. It's in the non-conference, and then yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Who sticks as our weekend rotation, and because there may be some movement there. We may have somebody that shows out and they get moved up into it if somebody slips in the front of
Something that,
the lineup. But then who's the midweek guys? Who's the long reliever? Who's
yeah,
the
I'm,
closer? Who's
I'm
your
curious.
get this one guy out?
Right. I'm looking really curious to see who's going to feel like the Riley Cooper, Nate Ackenhausen type role.
Yeah.
Those guys, because those guys make or break your season. Yeah, you absolutely have to have an ace. Everybody knows that. But if you don't have guys in
Tell
that
you what,
role,
we don't win the Natty without Riley Cooper and Nate Atkins.
yeah, exactly. You have to have guys in that role because I, I mean, unless you got an entire staff of Paul Skeens, you can only use him once a week. So you need guys to fill
No
in these
matter
other
what Big
roles.
T says.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I like the way the staff looks. It's on paper. They got to do it, and it starts this weekend. It's,
Well, let's go around the horn. So that's the pitching.
yeah,
Probably
pitching.
the biggest questions I have are had. And then, like I said, we'll go around the horn. So I got no question who our first baseman's going to be.
Yeah. First baseman's Bear Jones. He's how the hell that guy's still on campus. I have no clue
No clue.
because that guy doesn't come back from the draft
I
ever.
thought it was funny on the GameDayTigers.com, and Doxy said, I'm gonna keep Jared Jones." I'm like, good plan. Good plan.
Yeah, good,
You,
good idea.
you're like, get my shocked face. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
call. You and I,
yeah. So,
we both have
um,
uh,
and
man
and
crush.
then look, Jared Jones is creeping into absolute elite territory on LSU's all-time hits list, home runs list. He's currently tied with Tommy White for 10. If he hits 18, and I mean, shit, he hit 28 last year. So if he gets to 18, that puts him at number 3 all-time in LSU history. And the two guys ahead of him are both 4-year players from the Gorilla Ball era. So I don't see him catching them unless they let us use the 97 bats this year, which I don't think they allow in that.
97 ball too.
Yeah, that too. But he's gonna be somewhere up in that very upper tier of career home runs at LSU.
Yeah. He's
And
an impressive
barring,
specimen.
yeah, yeah, he's a stud.
Here he is.
One of the things that's gonna
There,
matter,
right over your head.
yeah, directly above me. One of the things that's gonna matter is you see how the lineup's constructed. Somebody has to hit behind him who can provide him with protection. It's got to be somebody that the other team at least respects. So that's gonna play a big role in just how big of a year can Jones have.
I'll tell you later who I wish that could be, but uh, I have no grand illusions that it's going to be.
I'll uh I'll tell you who I think it's gonna be. Not necessarily a wish or a dream, just who my gut feeling is who's the guy that's gonna step up and fill that role.
All right. You gonna tell me right now?
I can, or you want to wait till we get to his position?
No, go ahead.
Going Jake Brown.
Okay. All right. Out of left field. Well, since you said that, I'll tell you who I wish it would be. It's Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, he was my man crush last year. Absolutely, I would be pulling for him.
I wish it would be him just because I
Yeah,
want to see him. I like that guy.
if we could play the entire season in the month of June, then
He'd
yeah,
be a killer. He's a
absolutely.
killer. Dude, I've never seen a guy that looks like him that's so damn fast.
Yeah,
Doesn't look fast at all.
yes,
He's on
absolutely.
dirt.
Yeah,
All right, so first base, Jared Jones.
yeah.
Who we got at
Second,
second?
second base would be Daniel Dickinson.
Okay.
Transferred in from Utah Valley. He's another one of those guys who his numbers are amazing at Utah Valley.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks he's going to translate well.
Well, and
Uh,
baseball is different than football. It's like we said,
yeah, it is. It's
Dallas Baptist, there's these smaller schools, you can have this elite talent. I mean, a lot of JUCO has players that we wish we could have.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of our better players ever were JUCO kids. I mean, it happens.
Rafe
But
Rhymes. And Rafe
Brandon
Rhymes, he's
Larson,
the rake. Rafe the rake.
Brandon Larson was a JUCO guy.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah. But Dickinson, I want to say he was the number two rated transfer in the entire country at all positions. He's the number like three rated second baseman in the entire country. So you got him right there, and then Monster Milam's going to move over to short. Everything I've ever read, Jay Johnson said, plain and simple, he's the best defensive infielder on the team.
Yeah.
So
How do you feel about it? Because I guess whenever you picked him as your man crush, we didn't know he was moving to short, right?
did not know. I
No,
suspected
I
a
didn't because I was
possibility.
thinking I was picking the shortstop.
I expected it at least be impossible. Which on my thread I mentioned that your man Crush Braswell, who's moving over to third, Braswell, Milam, and Dickinson were going to be your three infielders. It was just a question of who was in what position. And Jay Johnson brought up a kind of interesting twist, kind of like a shift, but not really. And they may move those guys around different spots in the same game.
Interesting.
Sort of like they did. Remember when Gavin Dugas had that shoulder injury
Mm-hmm.
and kind of flip flop him and
Oh yeah,
JT
they
certain
put him where he
situations?
couldn't hurt you.
Yeah, they'll kind of do something like that.
Covered him up.
They'll place those three guys according to the situation. They'll move them around.
Um, the
So
deal with Braswell, I'm good with him going to third because I've had some success with a third baseman as my man crush. I mean,
yeah, you had pretty good.
yeah,
I mean, the last guy wasn't bad,
yeah, he was pretty freaking good.
but that rounds out the infield, and then the outfield is, I'm not gonna lie, this is a complete crapshoot on my part as who
I'll
you
pick
three.
you left fielder.
Left field, that's gonna be Curiel probably.
Yep, absolutely. That's Hatcher's man crush. Dude, I came so close, but I wanted an infielder, but I came so close. I
He,
told Nooch, I told Nooch on the side. I didn't say it in the thread, but I said, dude, that's gonna make somebody a good man crush.
he's
Keep
uh
him away from Big T.
He's probably the highest rated position player I've ever seen skip out on the draft. He was a top 10 prospect and number one true freshman in all of America. Like he's a stud. He's that guy who goes early and never ever steps foot on campus, but he's here. So he'll be your left fielder. Center field will probably be Chris Stanfield. He transferred over from Auburn. He's not gonna wow you at the plate. He's decent. He's not bad by any stretch, but he's nothing phenomenal. But he is an elite defender. So he'll be your center fielder. And then the real question mark comes in right field.
Yep.
I figure it's some type of competition between Jake Brown, Ashton Larson, Josh Pearson. Uh,
I
I'm
think
going
all
with
three are gonna play a lot
and
unless somebody separates.
one of those guys will likely be the DH
Yeah,
for the
I
most
agree.
part.
I agree.
So
I think
uh,
you pretty much covered it there. And who knows who's going to be which? But they'll be platoon
and
early. There is no Paxton Kling anymore. He's at Penn State.
right.
Um,
And that could change game to game based on well, I mean, actually all three of them bat lefty,
yeah,
so
they're
that's
all
not really
lefties.
going to play into it. So, you got a couple other guys on there who might see some playing time, but I think it's really between those three to close out that final spot plus your DH. And I mean, we have some other guys who will probably see some time at DH just to get them
It's
some
our
at bat.
final spot. We have another spot we haven't talked about, and I'm clueless.
Catcher,
Mhm.
Luis Hernandez.
Okay, I like the last name for a catcher. Okay,
Luis Hernandez. He's a transfer as well. And from everything I'm reading, he's pretty much like a very strong leadership type role. Think Micah Gibbs type that
okay.
people respond to.
Don't hate
Uh,
that.
he played at Indiana State, who was also actually they got screwed out of a
Yeah,
host because of some other event or something that the city
yeah.
wasn't able to handle hosting. And he was a stud. He's a Puerto Rican. He's played on the Puerto Rican national team the last 2 years. And face that guy doesn't transfer to LSU unless he's getting playing time. And the other position he plays is first base. We know he's not playing first base. Yeah, you're right, but how much money are you going to take to sit the bench and just completely butcher your draft
No, he's
prospects?
coming to play, but I mean, it also
Yeah,
includes he came to LSU because of two reasons. One,
yeah,
we needed a catcher, and two, we got money.
yeah. But I
Who
mean,
knew, dude? LSU's rich. Who knew?
yeah, exactly. So, but at catcher, you got a couple other guys in there who could possibly play. You got like Cade Arambidi. He'll be a guy who will probably get some time. Um, Trying to think who's the other one. We had another Blaze Priester. He's a guy who's going to battle for a DH role. I think he another JUCO guy. He comes from Meridian. He's going to be a good one. Um, you got other infielders in there. You got Tanner Reeves. Since we brought up Brandon Larson, Tanner Reeves is a Blinn College guy,
You know who
same as
we didn't
Brandon.
bring up at all is Ethan Fry.
So,
So
man,
much,
look,
dude. So much
uh,
talent on his team. Where's a guy
Ethan
like
Fry
Ethan
has
Fry?
got a ton of power, but he's got to turn the corner. He's just never quite figured it out yet at this level. Now, he was injured a lot, so maybe he's healthy and we'll see. He could be sort of like a Hayden Travinski type. There's similar build, similar body types. Could be that type of a hitter for us,
Got
possibly.
my Hayden Travinski going on right now, actually.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you got the vibe look going. But
Trying.
I mean, that's built on paper. It's a squad. There's absolutely. I mean, look at the rankings behind us. We're top three in every single poll. I mean, the
Yeah.
expectations. This is LSU. The expectations are Omaha.
I'll tell you what's crazy though. Top three, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. One, two, three, five. However you want to break it down. There's five or six SEC teams in the top 10. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it is.
Look at
And we played.
SEC, Tennessee, LSU a couple of years ago. These are teams that the pitchers from these schools go on to win Rookie of the Year and start all-star games. That's the kind of talent that's in this league. So you
and
can be two or three, and you could still finish third in conference,
and
yeah,
looking
or
and
fourth, fifth,
looking
or whatever.
looking at the schedule, it's the exact opposite of last year. Last year's schedule was heavily front end loaded. This year, going off of preseason rankings, we got three top five teams in a row at the tail end of this conference
Yeah,
slate.
yeah, we'll
You
see. We'll see how that plays out, but. Um, I'm looking forward to it. Starts this weekend. We got Purdue. What? It's not that Purdue.
Purdue Fort Wayne. So it's
Fort
not Purdue
Wayne. That's it.
Purdue.
Purdue
Purdue
Fort Wayne. I've
Fort
been to
Wayne.
Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
They got a cool car museum there in Fort Wayne. I've worked there.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Three-game set starts Friday. Currently scheduled for Friday at 2 p.m. Expect some possible weather delays this weekend because the weather in Baton Rouge is not looking pretty. I just hope we get all three of them
Let
in,
me
and I
just tell
really.
you this. You talk about the weather all you want on a Wednesday night. It was supposed to be 84 degrees here today. It never got above 66, and it's howling outside right now, and we got a fire going. It's supposed to be
What's
80,
what's your projection for tomorrow morning?
37,
34,
37.
37. Wow. Must be nice to live down near Mexico. It's
Yes.
23 is our forecast for tomorrow morning.
Hey man, we can't handle that here at the Lazy Bee Hay Farm. That's the only thing I don't like about your setup here is like, where's our sponsors? The Lazy Bee Hay Farm, Lanyap Lures.
Working on it.
Lazy Bee Hay Farm, we got some stuff going on, dude. You seen my little lambs we had?
I did see that. Yes, I
I
saw
got
that.
one that's about to drop. She's a couple of days. I suck at picking when they're gonna do it, but I mean, she looks more pregnant than the one that just gave birth ever looked.
Okay.
And so I hope that doesn't mean she's gonna have triplets. I hope she has twins, and I hope they're both girls. Because so far, I'm 0 for 2. I got two rams, but they are so freaking cute. They're amazing. Getting
Yeah.
plenty of eggs. Everybody's bitching about the price of eggs. I'm like, yeah, I just walk outside. What are you talking about?
Nice.
Mine are mostly free range now. They just come and go as they want, and they go eat bugs and grass, and then they come back and lay me a couple eggs. Bam,
There you go. Sounds like a good
easy
setup,
peasy.
man.
Oh, and most importantly, brought one of our two pigs to the processor a couple weeks ago. Shot a doe. Right before that, mixed it. Had the guy mix it with this pig. So I got some sausage coming, baby. Going to pick it up Monday. Um, and then I got another pig still. So that's where you come into play. When you coming over, bro? We got got to get you some sausage to take
I
back
uh, I don't know. I'll
back
let
to
you. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
So. Anyway, we only got a little less than a minute to go here. So
Wrap it up.
Friday, it's a day game on a Friday. I don't know if we'll really have a lot of action in chat, but I do plan on at least attempting to do some play-by-play on the forum. Come check us out. It's baseball season. We're probably one of the more active forums out there for college
Yeah, for
baseball.
baseball, we're GameDayTigers.com is a big bunch of baseball fans.
Yeah,
Y'all
come
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 check
come
it
see
out. And hey, go Tigers, man.
it. Go Tigers.
Let's get it done.